lot of interest in the development of Drake. What
Sure.
have you observed from his development for this spring game?
He's been impressive. He's come out. He's taken everything from the classroom, everything from our individual periods, and he's applying it into the team drills. He's been impressive so far. The biggest things we're working on with him right now, obviously, calling plays from the huddle, which is new to a lot of these college guys, and then just playing in rhythm and in time with your feet, and that's the biggest strides I'd say he's made over the last few weeks.
Alex, we talked to him a few weeks ago, and you mentioned that he's learning different stances with his feet. And I'm just curious, the left foot forward thing, why is that important to you, and why do you think that's valuable?
Because in our system, it's all based on timing and rhythm in the pass game, and I think the left foot forward is always giving this offense the best chance to play on time and in rhythm.
Alex, where, anywhere has Drake surprised you, maybe from what you expected from him coming in?
I'd say probably just the ability to pick up the footwork changes. I know that's a big change for a guy to come in and completely change the footwork, but we did it right away, and he's embraced it.
How has it been having Jacoby there to kind of serve as that veteran mentor?
Man, he's a stud. There's no question. That's why he's here. The person that he is, the leader that he is for this team, and also the player that he is. And I think he's had an exceptional spring. He's got great command of this offense. Not only that, he's taken the young guys under his wing and showing them how to, establish a routine and how to study in the system.
I also want to ask about Javon Baker. We kind of saw him at the last Open OTs really take a step up and make some contested catches and just really stood out. How have you seen him grow in this short time?
It's another guy that's the verbiage is new to him, so having to understand the play call and the huddle and then apply it. But he's been impressive. He's made plays on the ball. His route running is really good. He's just going to, as he continues to master the system, he'll continue to make strides. But he's been impressive.
How are you, we're asking you about all these players, but you're sort of in a new role, in a new place, installing your scheme. How are you developing or evolving over this spring?
It's similar to what I've done in the past. I was in charge of all the installations in the old offense. So we're following some of that blueprint. A little more things that I may have done differently that we didn't do in the past. I'm trying to kind of test those out and see if those work. But it's been good. I think the guys have a good grasp of what we're trying to get done in the system. We've installed a lot of our offense, different schemes in the run game, in the pass game as well. Third down, red zone. We'll hit tight red zone today. We've gone through it now twice. So I feel like as we come back for training camp that third time, we should have a good grasp of what we're trying to get accomplished. But guys have done a great job as far as learning. Taking the drill work, I think, is the biggest thing I've seen is these guys taking the drill work and applying it in the team periods and having success with it. So we'll continue to grow.
Alex, is there a secret to developing a rookie quarterback or things that you have in mind that you need to do to kind of assure that kid's going to develop properly?
Yeah, there's a ton that goes into it, and that's a great question. I think of it as a marathon over a sprint. You just don't go out and run a marathon. You have to train properly for a marathon, and it's the same with the quarterback. There's a process, and we follow that process. We trust that process. You can't just stick a guy out there and expect him to be successful without the proper training. So it is a process, and we're making moves in the right direction.
And what type of work are you doing with?
Gerard identified you as the primary voice when it comes to Drake's development. How would you describe the division of labor in terms of working with him individually and then also installing the offense and working with the offense as a whole?
No, absolutely. There's not a quarterback meeting that I miss. I'm in every meeting. We have a great room. TC has been in my room before as I coach quarterbacks. Ben McAdoo, I was in a system when he was coaching the quarterbacks. There's one voice. We're definitely all on the same page. Whoever those guys come to, obviously they're going to get the same answer from each coach. But it's been good in that room. It's very open. It's very collaborative, and it's very communicative.
Coach, what type of work are you doing with Drake inside the building? And how many hours are you guys in here?
Well, we're working normal off-season hours, so 12, 14 hours a day, the normal off-season hours. But those guys are around, man. I've seen them come out of the steam room together, Jacoby and Drake, at 7:30 at night. So they're putting in the extra time. There are definitely rookie meetings that we have through the morning. Earlier in the spring, we had them in the afternoon for a couple hours a day too. And really, when it comes to the quarterback play, in all positions, when you make that step from college to the pros, there's a lot of teaching that goes on. There's a lot involved, especially from the quarterback position.
Alex, ideally, when would you like to see Drake take the step where he's taking maybe the second reps right behind Jacoby so that he's increasing his work?
We always talk about earning your reps around here. So as he continues to grow and have successful practices and start stacking those, then we could think about moving him up the depth chart. But it's a process, like I said, and it's a marathon. So we're going to take our time and do it the right way.
I always used to say that this is not really an evaluation time. Is that for you guys? That this time of year was more of a teaching.
Sure.
You're not putting up the measure of, well, he screwed this up. It's not evaluation. Is that going to continue to minicamp or in training?
No, I no disrespect, but I evaluate every practice. We're evaluating the drills, even the individual drills. We evaluate that. Are you getting better each day? Are you making the same mistakes? Are you correcting the things that we've corrected? So for me, it's an evaluation every day.
Coach, Drake mentioned when he was drafted that he watched some Packers film when he came up for his visit. What were some of your biggest influences from your time in Green Bay that maybe will carry over to your time here?
You know, working with Coach McCarthy, I think was huge. I had a relationship built with him over the years, and I think he's one of the best football coaches out there. You know, that was a big part of it. And then working with Aaron and just seeing how he thought about football was big for me. Just learning from that, taking the footwork from that system and carrying it over, I think was another big part. But just being around good coaches and you know, in a good organization meant a lot to me.
Alex, how do you talk having one voice? You talked about the sort of collaboration with the other quarterback coaches, but is it sort of, this is what I want you guys to do, or did you sort of get together and like, yeah, I like that, let's do this, let's do that?
No, we definitely have our own opinions, but when it comes to coaching the quarterback, it's all one voice, as we talked about. You know, there's a lot of great ideas. We have, you know, a lot of great, smart coaches in the building, and we'll take pieces of everybody's, you know, ideas. That's part of it. Working collaboratively together is a big piece of it. But from the quarterback room, we've all coached the quarterback the same way, and I think that really helps us be on the same page.
Alex, I know we talked a lot about Drake's footwork. As far as his understanding of the playbook, most of it's in. How would you describe where he's at, understanding the system?
It's coming. It's never easy. There's some long calls, you know, play calls with 12, 14 words in it that you have to spit out with cans and, you know, get the cadence down, then come up and execute. So there's a lot to it, and there's area for growth there. But that's not an issue with Drake. He's a smart guy at studies, and, you know, when he's out of the building, and he'll nail that.
Do you have a goal or a timetable for when Drake might eventually take over as a starter, or is that something you're kind of taking as it comes?
I think you have to take that as it comes, really. I think it'll be a combination of a couple things, you know, when those decisions are made, and it'll be made together, you know, as a group with Elliott and Coach Mayo. But when that time comes, we'll see. But there is no timetable on when that time comes. Jacoby, again, is our starter, and he's playing excellent football for us in the spring, and Drake is coming on. So until that changes, we're going to stick with what we got.
Since you deal with the quarterbacks, how strong will your voice be as to when that time comes?
Yeah, I don't think it'd be stronger than anybody else's. I think it'd be equal, I would hope, yes. But I've been very impressed with the way the organization is run since I've been here. Very open in communication and very collaborative.
Alex, I don't think we've spoken to you since Drake was drafted until today. Was there a moment during the pre-draft process where you thought to yourself, this guy would be a good fit for what I want to do offensively?
Absolutely. You know, I was really from day one of evaluating these guys. You know, he can do a lot of the things that we asked the quarterback to do in the system.
Was there one moment from your interactions with him that really impressed you or stood out as you look back
there's
on
multiple.
that time?
You know, we had multiple interactions, and you know, just the kind of the person you see in those meetings. Those are kind of the things that you're attracted to. The work ethic, you know, getting on, being hard on yourself when you make a mistake. The things you would want a franchise quarterback to be. Yeah.
Alex, you mentioned vision, what it will look like on game day as coordinator. Are you sort of an eye in the sky guy from the booth, or do you think you'll be down on the field on the side?
I've done both as a play caller, and I feel more comfortable on the sideline. Quite honestly, I've watched a lot of football over the years on the sideline, and I feel like I can see it well enough down there. I don't have trustful eyes in the box, obviously, to keep an eye from upstairs.
Alex, you mentioned Mike McCarthy, and Elliott invoked Mike McCarthy in his quarterback school, the program to develop a quarterback. What are the key tenets of that development program?
It's a lot of footwork training, a lot of foot speed, a lot of pocket movement, off-balance throws, things that are real football. You know, and it goes all the way back for me to Paul Hackett, who was Coach McCarthy was a graduate assistant when Paul was doing the quarterback training. So it really goes back to the origin of the West Coast with Walsh and Hackett as far as the training of the quarterback. The drills that we do out here are the same drills I did in 1989. And they stand the test of time, in our opinion, how you train a quarterback.
And regarding the marathon of training a quarterback, after next week, when these guys adjourn, do you give them homework assignments? How do you stay in touch with what they're doing when they disperse and go their separate ways with their own coaches?
You definitely they'll have their information with them. They'll be able to study everything that was installed in the spring. They can go back and watch all the tape from the spring, and then there'll be footwork training that we'll expect them to do when they go out and work out on the field for sure.
Coach, Rob Mayo mentioned that there's been some virtual reality use with the quarterbacks. What, in your opinion, is the value of using that to kind of get these guys?
Extra reps. So you can stand in a room and get 40 reps versus blitz and be able to make the calls based off the virtual reality tape. So it definitely gives the running backs, especially the quarterbacks, more chances to see different looks.
Do you have history with that in the past, or is this the first time?
Different ways. It's evolved over the years, but definitely have used Madden-like simulations to stimulate the players and get responses from them.
You stepping in there and doing it?
No, not at all.
How's Joe Milton done?
Joe's an excellent. Joe's a very talented passer. He can do some really great things with his leg and his arm. So he's come on strong. He's made some really strong throws in this camp as well.
Alex, it was just one moment in practice last week, but it looked like Drake made a no-look throw at the end. I'm just curious, from what you've seen from him on the field off, how would you describe the confidence level with which he just approaches his job right now?
It's growing. It's growing. It's tough when you don't exactly know what you're doing. And he's got bits and pieces of it right now. But to be able to see him come out and have some fun on the field and be a natural football player, that's what we're looking for.
Comes to the tail of the tape between Tim Hortons and Dunkin' Donuts. Is that a tough battle for you?
I'm going to go with Dunkin' Donuts only because yeah, very very much so. Yeah, definitely. Alrighty.
You mentioned Madden in the virtual reality thing. Drew Bledsoe a few years ago on a local radio talked about an advantage he thinks the young quarterbacks might have, where they come in and they've had all these images, where they've seen them playing Madden, NFL, and whatnot, in terms of reading coverages and decision making. Has that been your experience? Or have you
I can think it definitely help. I think you see real football sometimes in Madden. I think they've done a great job of kind of marrying the real game to the the video game. You can see coverage shells, you can see rotation of safeties, you can see pressures and where they come from. I don't see how it couldn't help a little bit.
Alex, it's a good way to steal reps. For somebody who doesn't know, what's like a reasonable number of reps you could steal in a day?
So you might only have 12 practice reps in a day, and say there's 6 of those are your reps versus pressure. I can go inside and do 40 more pressure reps just standing there on a simulated, screen. So you could triple, quadruple your repetitions. Say you have 2 jet protection or protection, and they bring certain pressures. Now you could stand there and watch very easily and quickly and say, "Oh, this is what I have to do here. This is what I have to do here." It just gives you a bunch more opportunity to see different looks.
Is there a helmet on for that? Is it
Yeah, there's different ways of doing it. Yeah, there's definitely different. Yeah, they have ones that have the handheld where you can see where they're throwing. So that's another thing. You can have a quarterback work through progressions and see where they're going to throw the football in the live. That I don't know. You're IT-ing me now. That's a good question, but.
All right. In the tight red zone here today, specific to the quarterbacks, what are you looking to learn about them?
Decision making. Obviously, you can't throw interceptions in the red zone. We have points on the board, and then the ability to play on time and quick. Everything speeds up in the red zone, and coverage is a lot tighter. So making the accurate throws, working the high back 5 of the end zone, and making the correct reads. And if nothing's there, just saving the play and taking the points.
Last thing I wanted to ask you, Alex, talking about the footwork out here. Do you have to manage how much you throw at Drake early on so that he's not thinking too much about where his feet should be or landmarks or any of that stuff? How do you try to manage
each day is going to have different footwork involved. So if there's a day we're pushing the ball down the field and we're taking 7-step timing, we'll work our 7-step footwork. Not really. You can't put too much on them. We only have 4 or 5 different footwork types. We just got to get really good at working each of those types and when to apply them as to what plays they come with.
That stuff too much if there's too much on?
Well, you'll be robotic early, and then it becomes muscle memory later. So we're trying to get to the muscle memory stage. All right, guys, thanks. Appreciate it.